Hey guys, Zaphod here, back with this week's The Comic Strip. For those of you on YouTube, I apologize. Last week I was having some serious technical difficulty and wasn't able to get my video uploaded. Hopefully this week we will not have the same trouble. But to make up for last time, let's just dive right in, shall we? Also, I have a lot of comics to get through this week. First up, I'm really happy to welcome back Wild Blue Yonder. For those of you who this does not look familiar to, that's because this book has not been coming out for the last several months, which has saddened me deeply. There are two covers for this book. I picked up the subscription cover because it was cool. But yeah, this issue, this is the penultimate issue. There's only one issue after this. Diamond says it'll be out by the end of this month, but given the other delays in the series, I'm not sure whether to expect that or not. But it's a crazy dramatic issue in the middle of the fight for the Dawn, the ship, the forever, ship that never ever runs out of fuel, which in this world is the one thing you need. But this issue is crazy intense, actually left me just like crying, so really fucking good way to come back from a few months off and just, kick ass and break my heart and stuff, so, good for you guys. Next up we have, Saga number 21. This issue, Hazel makes a friend, and Alana makes some questionable life decisions. In this issue, you're kind of being able to see the wedge that might start between Alana and Marco, and it hurts my heart to see it, but we'll see how things continue to develop in that. Next up, we have Batman number 33. First off, two things I'd like to point out. This is the last issue in 0 year. This is also, if you'll see, DC has now begun crediting, giving cover credits to their colorist, which I think is a really cool thing, and I appreciate that. This issue is fucking brilliant. Complete 10 out of 10. Amazing. Oh, pardon me. Let me grab some water. This is the best incarnation of the Riddler, in my personal opinion. It's his craziest game. Fight for Gotham. It's amazing. And you also get to see a little bit of a tease to see how Arkham gets to become what it is in our current day and age of continuity, rather in 0 issue, which is 0 year, which is fun. But hell of a good way to round off 0 year. It's amazing. This team was made to do Batman, and I would love to see them do it forever if they want to keep doing it. So, fucking good job. Next up, we have Batman Eternal. This issue is drawn by Dustin Nguyen, one of my favorite artists, so that's pretty cool. This issue focuses on Batwing and Jim Kerrigan, the Spectre, as they are investigating what's happening at Arkham. Some crazy stuff is what is happening, and nothing could go wrong, could it? Things go wrong. I'll spoil that. Things go wrong. Next up, we have a number one of the two Warren Ellis titles out this week from Image, Supreme Blue Rose. Tula Lotte is doing the art for this, and it's really cool. Great art, and the coloring is really interesting. You'll see like some sketchy lines over the pages themselves and like crossing over the borders. In a really cool way, which lends to the art in a way that I haven't seen before, which I really like. The main character, Diana, she's hired by a mysterious multi-billionaire to find out what she can about this mysterious event that happened. They say it's a plane crash, but it isn't, and it's her job to figure out what it is, and he's paying her ridiculous sums of money to do it. And interesting premise, I think so. The truth is, it's really cool. It starts off really trippy and like some sort of strange dream sequence, and then it jumps into the story, and that dream sequence is definitely going to play a big part later on, and so I will be interested to see how it incorporates further on in the series. Great start to series. I highly recommend it. Cool stuff. Next up, we have from IDW. Oh, shit, it's not IDW anymore. It's Titan! That's right, it's Titan! That's awesome! Sorry, slip of the tongue. From Titan, we have two Doctor Who series starting off this week. Doctor Who 10th Doctor. This one is written by Nick Abadzis. and Elena Casagrande. This issue is really, really great. I really liked it. It's always interesting for me to see how licensed media translates, but Doctor Who's been running in comic form pretty much as long as it's been running in the serialized television format, and they've always done a great job with it, and it's always just nice to see different interpretations. And this was really well done. Kind of the focal character in this issue, the new companion, as it were, probably, is Gabriella. She works in her family's restaurant and laundry. Sorry, talking too fast. In this issue, as it's starting, it's leading up to Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead, and you see some sort of scary, monsterish stuff going on. Really good, feels very genuine to the 10th Doctor, which I appreciate. And then we have, in contrast, also Doctor Who #1, but this one focusing on the 11th Doctor. This one is a little bit different. The 10th Doctor's one starts off a little bit slowly getting to introduce you to Gabriella and her life, and then introducing the strange elements as that progresses. This one just jumps right in. You get to know a little bit about the character, and then just jumps into Matt Smith, jumps into this crazy, silly stuff that's happening in the way that is very fun and unusual and very Matt Smith. And I really enjoyed it. And it's interesting that they have these both coming out in the same week, and it does give you a chance to kind of compare and contrast the two. Both very different issues, both executed very differently by different creative teams. This one was done by Al Ewing and Rob Williams, and the art was by Simon Fraser. But both creative teams did a hell of a job. Like I said, different styles, different introductions to their series, but both really, really good. And for any fan of Doctor Who, I would highly recommend either of these series. Next up, we have Batman and Robin #33. This is part of Robin Rises #1. However, I would still recommend reading Robin Rises Omega, that one-shot that came out last week. That is kind of pivotal. It kind of builds up to what's happening here. It takes place after the last issue of Batman and Robin, but before this one. So if you haven't read it, you should before you read this. But this issue is so fucking insane. This is everything that has been building and building, and now Batman's finally exploded and gone crazy. He's not gone crazy. He's just a man on a mission to find his son and have him safe, which is fair, but being that he's Batman, he can go to some serious lengths to get that, which normal people would not be able to. So, a normal man who lost his son, of course, probably wouldn't have all these extreme circumstances behind it, but there's only so much you can do. When you're fucking Batman, then it's hard to just let it go when you know that you're Batman and you can fucking do something to stop it. This is escalating like mad. It's part 1 of the Robin Rises is going to continue. Supposedly, maybe Robin coming back to life. We don't know for sure. I hope so. I love Damien. I would love to see him come back. But this issue was great, and especially the ending was fucking phenomenal and really just made me go, I'm excited. Next month. Let's go. More Batman and Robin. Let's make it happen. Okay, I'll be patient. Alright, instead, we'll just go and move on to some more comics, like Velvet. Velvet #6. This is part 1 of the Secret Lives of Dead Men story arc, and that is definitely what it's going to become, because Velvet has figured out that someone within the agency is responsible for what happened to Mockingbird, and she is going to take them down. It is getting crazy, and she is building up her plan and getting ready to strike, and I would not want to be in the way of that woman, because she's scary and knows how to use guns and stuff, which is intense. Next up, we have another one from Warren Ellis. We have Trees #3. This is a really great issue. I love how Jason Howard draws people. They're so expressive and so unique. Like, it's just a really great style. This issue doesn't really focus a lot on the trees themselves, but does give you a lot of information about a couple of the characters that are going to be some of the focal points of the series, which I find really interesting, and it was a really great issue after the last one, which did tell you a lot about the trees and introduced you to one of the other groups. This one focuses on a couple different characters and tells you a lot more about them rather than the trees themselves, which I already said. But yeah, you get the gist. Sorry, I'm rambling tonight apparently. Next up we have a brand new #1, which I imagine many people will be excited for because it's by the one and the only Jeff Smith. This is Tuki, #1. I think it's Tuki. Tuki is the first human to leave Africa, back early days, back where there were other species of parallel evolutions, before we went out and kill everyone else, or they got extinct or whatever. So this is a really fun story, and as I mentioned afterwards, this is the first full color book that has come out from Cartoon Books as it was being published. They first put it out in webcomic format to see how that would work, and so if you'll notice, when you open it, instead of being the traditional, you know, it's actually horizontally formatted, which is a little confusing when you first open the book, but the whole book is like that. You don't have to worry about flipping it at all, and it's a really cool format, really well done, and I am all for reading more of Tuki because it's fun and delightful and everything you would expect from Jeff Smith. So if you're a fan at all, definitely pick it up and check it out. Next up, we have Amazing Spider-Man #4. This is part of the Original Sin tie-in, but if you haven't read it or if you're not reading it, don't worry. It's like a little scene here, but you can read the story without it. But Peter, in this issue, learns an incredible secret that was hidden from him most of his life, and we'll see, definitely in this issue and in future issues, how that will affect him and play out. It's a big secret, and I want to tell you, but I can't. So just read it, and then we can talk about it later, okay? Okay, thank you. Next up, we have a brand new #1 from IDW by Walt Simonson. It's Ragnarok. One interesting thing I noticed about this one, first off, it seems to be, at least in most places, hand-lettered, which you don't really see most of the time. This is a fantasy epic about a dark elf who's been hired as an assassin to go kill a god, which is a pretty crazy concept, right? It is, yeah, and you get to see as she builds up this team of adventurers and crazy assassins to go kill him with her, and it'll be interesting to see how that goes because, you know, they're gods for a reason. They're probably not too easy to kill, so we'll see. But definitely killer art, you know, it's what you would expect, so it's highly worth checking out if you're a fantasy fan or a Simonson fan, or, you know. And last up this week, we have a new #1 from Marvel, Greg Pak and Victor Ibanez, doing Storm #1. So this series, this first issue, does a good job of introducing you to Storm through showing her through two different perspectives. One of her as Storm as a hero, as a superhero, helping these citizens in this village from a tsunami, and the other one is as Storm as the teacher at Jean Grey's School of Higher Learning, where she's dealing with a younger girl in her tutelage. So gives you a little bit about her from both sides of her life, gives you a nice well-rounded view, and for me, who I have seen her maybe in the movies and read comics with her that are team books, but haven't read any of her individual stuff, it does a really good job of kind of, you know, giving you the information you need to go to work with that. Oh, deep breath. I was talking really fast. I'm just used to this cutting out on me by now. I'm not used to I'm borrowing my boyfriend's Kindle, which is the only reason it hasn't died already, because apparently I have the worst luck with technology and it just breaks around me. But that's it for this week. Don't forget to check out, it's also the last of the month, so we have previews, some cool stuff in there, including Scott Snyder and Jock's Witches, which is coming out, which I'm really, really excited about, and a few others. So yeah, that's it for me. Hope you guys have a good week writing comics. If you have any questions or comments for me, or just want to talk about what you're reading, drop it in the comments below, and I'd love to talk about it. You guys have a great night, and happy comic book day.